Wedding season is among us, which begs the question, if one does not get married, who does the engagement ring belong to? Does it have to be returned? The answer may surprise you. This video is co-authored with my girlfriend Sawa and Nana. We were talking about Jennifer Lopez amassing 6 engagement rings, and so we were curious about the law on this, so I decided to do a video dedicated to them. But before we get into the legal question as to whether or not the engagement must be returned, let me introduce myself. My name is Miriam and this is the Legal Code, and on this channel we discuss a wide range of legal topics. Of course, we discuss celebrity shenanigans with the legal aspects of their situations, as well as small business concerns that affect your small business, as well as estate planning. So this is an informative channel where you can learn from, and we try to make it fun and engaging as much as possible. So if you like that sort of thing, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course share with anyone else you think will find value. Also, I would like to introduce that I have some legal coaching slots available. So if you would like the opportunity to work with me one-on-one, there is a link in the description box. We'll do a deep dive into your small business concerns, whether or not you're afraid that you're infringing on someone else's rights or someone is infringing on yours. We will discuss it and come up with an action plan so that you're protected and that you can avoid being sued, because no one wants to be sued. And it's best to know how your ducks are lined up in a row to avoid that. So if you would like to meet with me, there is a link in the description box. Also, there's some legal code merch, so if you would like to purchase that, that is also linked in the description box. Now, without further ado, let's get into engagement ring law. Do you have to return it? Are you entitled to keep it? Let's do a deep dive into this topic. So, to wed or not to wed? That is the question asked by many, especially as wedding season is approaching. But for those who are ready to pop the question, we could push that aside and maybe wondering, what if the engagement doesn't happen? Who does the engagement ring belong to? Which is not something that a lot of couples talk about, but we're going to discuss it in this video. Now, there's so many statistics and there's so much like etiquette as to how much a couple should spend on an engagement ring. Now, pre-pandemic, couples were spending upwards of $8,000 for an engagement ring. Post-pandemic, this has dropped to half of that. So couples are spending around $3,700 on an engagement ring. So despite there being so many rules regarding the expectation of the value of the engagement ring, a lot of thought has not gone into the question of, if the wedding doesn't happen, who does the engagement ring belong to? Keeping in mind, about 250,000 engagements don't end in marriage. That's 250,000 couples that don't end in marriage. So this is something to think about. Broken engagements occur frequently and can be extremely difficult for everyone involved. It's emotionally upsetting for the time that both parties spent together. On top of this, the question of who keeps the engagement ring following the separation is a contentious topic, and some couples can work it out, and bravo to them, but many have to rely on engagement ring law to decide which individual keeps the engagement ring, especially if there's intrinsic value and it's a family heirloom. Oftentimes this ends up in court. So in general, a ring is considered a gift. And the law says in order to be a gift, there must be 3 things in place. So you have to have a gift, the intent to give the gift, and an actual receiver of the gift. So now we have that boring stuff out of the way. We know we have a gift. And so in general, an engagement ring generally comes with the condition of marriage. So it's not solely a gift. It's on the condition of marriage. So the ring is given as consideration for the promise to get married, as opposed to a ring that's given solely as a gift with no expectation for anything in return. So an engagement ring is a special kind of gift. A ring as consideration for the promise to marry does not perform that promise to marry. One is not entitled to keep the ring. Now, most states take this approach. And if couples want to go to court and duke it out, the court will likely side with the gift giver and return the ring to that person. Most states follow this. Some states, on the hand, take into consideration the fault of who broke up the engagement. In those states, the person that breaks up the engagement loses the rights to the ring. Whether or not it's the fault of the gifter or the receiver, it doesn't matter. If you break up the engagement, you lose the ring. Now, Montana is an interesting exception, however. This state considers the engagement ring unconditional gift. The ring is kept by the recipient even if the marriage never occurs, and no matter who broke up the engagement. Now, for most states, once the marriage has occurred, the gifting of the ring is considered complete, and in the event of divorce, the recipient of the ring is entitled to keep the gift. However, a handful of other states consider the ring as marital property once the marriage occurs, and the value of the ring will be split in the divorce, just like any other marital property. So while the law varies on who is entitled to keep the ring, from an etiquette standpoint, many would consider good manners to return the ring to the gifter if the engagement is called off. This is especially true if the ring is a family heirloom and has some sentimental value. However, personal feelings always overwhelm the situation and may direct a person. The question that recipient of the ring should ask in that case is, do I want to hold on to a ring as a reminder for something that did not work out? Almost every court in the U.S. would argue that marriage is a condition that needs to be met in order to keep the engagement ring. This means that every broken engagement case taken to court, the receiver will legally have to give the ring back to the giver. So if you're contemplating keeping the engagement ring and getting rid of your fiancé, think again, because the court sides with the gifter. So now that we know this, let's look at Jennifer Lopez, who has amassed 6 engagement rings. So she married 3 times, so she fulfilled her obligation under that contract of the expectation of marriage. Under California law, she's entitled to keep those 3 rings. Now, she had a broken engagement with Ben Affleck and a broken engagement with A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. So the previous ring that she had with Ben, she probably would have to give that back to Ben Affleck. And Alex Rodriguez, she probably would have to give that back. And if she's successful in marrying Ben, she would be entitled to keep that. It's as simple as that. So although I doubt either one of her partners want the ring back, she could probably cash those rings in and get sizable amounts, because all of those rings are well in the 6 figures and even 7 figures in value. Also, while we're on the subject, I thought I would bring up the cultural differences of Mauritania, because America has a very taboo relationship with marriage and sees multiple marriages as taboo, especially for a woman. It's like a stain on her reputation. However, in Mauritania, multiple marriages are seen as a reflection of a woman's uniqueness, her beauty, and her attractiveness. And in terms of male perspective, a man's perspective in Mauritania, men believe that a divorced woman is more mature, experienced, and understanding of the difficulties and challenges of life. They also hold the common belief that an unmarried woman is more narcissistic and exaggerates her words. So of course there are nuances that I'm leaving out, but I thought this was just an interesting take on marriage and engagement that I would like to share with you, and it's all about perspective. So in closing, if you're in contemplation of marriage, or if you're in contemplation of ending your engagement, this is the law to consider. Figure out the laws in your state, again, because engagement laws are state specific. With that being said, most states side with the gifter. So to keep the peace, know this: don't fight a fool's fight, because Why waste money going to court fighting over an engagement ring that A, is a reminder of a relationship that did not work out, where you can just move on with your life and enjoy your future with someone else, and B, help that other person move on to their life rather than be caught up in court fighting over something that you are not legally entitled to. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know if you think these laws are fair, if the ring should be returned to the gifter, or if the recipient of the gift should be entitled to keep it. Let me know, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course share with anyone else you think will find value. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and to hit that thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.